Sorry, ma'am, I can't hear you. I think you didn't. I can't hear you, Sam. No, I can't. No. No.
Okay, now
Oh,
can you
no, it's
hear
okay.
me, guys?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, fine. So let us start with the topic of today, that we are going to discuss media and children, or in other words, electronic media and children. So
Electronic.
today our lives, those are so much bound by what media is telling us. There are televisions, okay, there are computers, there are mobile phones on which you can have access to all type of information. There is so much everywhere. There are
Okay.
tablets, there are video games as well, right? When we
Okay.
are talking about children and media, there are certain things we have to keep in mind. Although we cannot keep them away from all these things, yet the negative influence of electronic media upon children need to be curtailed, and we have to be conscious of certain things so that the electronic media of today is going to be of use to the children. So electronic media is central stage in our lives. There wouldn't be a single household that doesn't have a mobile phone, that doesn't have a computer, or that doesn't have access to all these things. Across the world, across the cultures, everywhere, we can say that electronic media is an invasion from the skies. So it is as if that all these towers out there have come together to keep a hold on our lives. There are so many programs coming, there are so many television watching, there are so many advertisements. It seems as if everything out there is to capture our brains. Okay, as adults it matters, but not that much, because we already have a developed personality, and we know the good and the bad of the things that we are entering into, but not so with children. So one point here important to understand is, whatever technology is there, technology is never going to teach children parents values, because values of one culture differ from that of another culture. So electronic media is not going to be in connaissance or in harmony with which portrays parental values for children. So there might be some specific programs which are related to a particular culture, promoting their values, but we cannot go with those, because as a combined society, living in a multicultural society, or living in a world having so many types of cultures, we are all like coming into interaction with each other. So we cannot say that I follow my values coming from my culture only. We have to be conscious of the values coming from other cultures also, and that is going to be creating a harmonious and blended interpersonal relationships in the society, which is the aim of everyone, every household, that children be nicely adjusted, children be socially happy, and that is with teachers and for with everyone. Okay, so television, there is an assumption that television is going to like harm the children. The children are so many assumptions are there. So one is that children develop concentration problems. Concentration problem means that once we are, suppose we are, even for myself, when we are doing our computers, we are we are very seriously looking into something.
Hi, ma'am.
Is there any question, please?
Yeah, I can't
Okay.
hear you. Just 1 minute.
Okay, that is fine. So what happens is that children develop concentration problem as younger children have lesser concentration span. They can concentrate, their attention span is less. They would be concentrating like for 10 or 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and then their attention is going somewhere else. So this thing is even more gets curtailed, and the attention span is even more disturbed when there are various kinds of advertisements coming or various kinds of interruptions coming when we are watching television. So this becomes a kind of mental working becomes like that. We are, suppose a child is watching television, okay, so after let us say 10 minutes, so something is coming up as an advertisement, so the main thing is left over and our attention gets diverted. After some time we can see that some captions are coming over there, so instead of watching what we were watching, that was boring, so we start reading this thing. So we are reading also, we are listening also, we are watching also, and all these are three different types of informations coming to us. This is going to be harmful for concentrated attention span for a longer time. This is one assumption, that within brief segments we are always experiencing some kind of disturbance while we are concentrating, and this is going to affect the attention span of the children. Second assumption is that when children are too much in use of electronic media, there comes a passivity in them. Passivity, passiveness in terms of their thinking, they become lazy thinkers. Whatever game a child is playing on the video game, or whatever the child is watching on the television, what is happening, we are not thinking. Children do not think then they are when they are watching. So whether it is a game or whether it is some information they are having, what they are having, they are being fed something which is already prepared, and they become passive thinkers, they become lazy thinkers, they do not use their own brains, because whatever information they require, that is coming to them first handedly. Okay, so they do not have to work on them, so if they are receiving, so I need this, okay, it is ready made out there, so I just get it. So there is no time to think, we do not think, we do not use our creativity. This is another harm, that all ready made material is being served to the child, and there is no self introspection. Self introspection is when you think and try to think on your own. Okay, so I think, so I did this thing, so can I do it some other way? It would look better. Instead of devoting more time to my own thinking, generating my own solutions, what is happening? I am receiving all the ready-made stuff out there from these electronic media, and this is going to make children passive thinkers or lazy thinkers, right? Next is, because of so much time spent on electronic media, less time remains for other valuable activities. When you are on the electronic media, on the social media, so you do not know like how quickly the time passes away. So when a child starts playing a game, you do not know like when 20 minutes gone and 40 minutes gone, and another game and 1.5 hours and 3 hours gone. So that is how the time that could have been utilized for valuable activities is being eaten up by electronic media, and not surely that what information I am getting is of any use. It may not be of any use to me, but still it is served in such an interesting manner, with so much of good music, with so much of good lights, with so much of good visuals, that my all my attention gets captured over there. Whether the information is of use to me or not, I'm just sitting there and looking at that. So all that time which one could have used in creative activities is going down the drain. This is another assumption, and because of this, the use of electronic media is going to be counterproductive for child growth and development, unless we keep a check on that, unless we keep some fixed timings, some fixed programs that need to be served to the children in the classroom or at home. Okay, what is the influence of electronic media upon cognitive abilities of the child? Because children are very much into impressionable years of developing their various faculties of their personality, like emotional development, social development, psychological development, physical development. Okay, everything is there. Cognitive development, so much. The learning of their motor skills is fine, motor skills, everything is there. So how this is going to be affected by too much use of electronic media, which is everywhere in the environment? We have to understand that we have to be selective in use of programs which children see. We have to be selective, like what are, if we are taking care of a child of preschool years, or we are working in a facility where there are children of preschool age group, so there are particular programs for these children. We have to select those programs which are interesting and which are giving a good message to the children, so the children are also learning good things, and they are also using their times in a better way, so they are happy watching the television. They are, it is so much of interest to them. But then what is the content, what the children will learn from this program? That as a living caregiver or as teacher or parents is very important, that whatever is being shown to the children on the television screen should be according to their age group. The program, they say Sesame Street, is a program which is very helpful for children. This can be a program which may not be like related today, but it was of the even past. We can have access to it. Another thing is language and reading skills can be developed with the help of electronic media. So there is what you call computer guided instructions giving over there. So the computer is telling us, now do this, now do this, now move on to this, step number 2, step number 3, 4, and this, in this way language learning can be acquired. In this way, like reading practice can be acquired. So if we are putting children on the right way, then we are helping them understand word meanings, helping them understand how to make sentences, how to build up sentences, then moving on to writing paragraphs, writing essays, writing about some anecdotes about their personal experiences or so. So language and reading skills can be improved, and emotional development can be given by pro-social behavior can be developed. What kind of material the child is exposed to is going to definitely affect the mental and emotional level of the child. About mathematics, again there are several programs which have been designed in such a way to promote mathematical understanding to the children. The concepts of mathematics get easily understood by the child in an interesting manner. So these programs are being prepared by the experts in the field, right? So it is in this way that we can make use of electronic media for betterment of our children. So certain programs for language development are Word Girl, Martha Speaks. For maths and science, the name of the program is Cyberspace, Dinosaur Train, Curious George, and Sid and the Science Kid. These are the names, 6 or 7 names I gave you of various programs which can be useful for children, preschoolers. This is for useful even when they start reading, they start going to the formal school. For teachers and as well for the living caregiver, it is in all these programs are one which can be incorporated into building up of the children. Let us have an understanding of Canadian Pediatric Society, CPS. Okay, so this society is working in the field of child growth and development in context of electronic media. So this society says or have researched that power of TV can be harnessed to help children learn academic skills. So television, if used in a positive way, if used with wisdom and used with an scholastic acumen by the teacher or the adults, can be very useful for development of academic skills in children. Academic skills, you know, reading, writing and mathematics. However, the same society says, CPS society, it says that children below the age of 5 are never going to be gaining anything good from the television. So what their research says that children under 5 face very so much of risk. Okay, this risk is associated with indiscriminate screen exposure. Now what is this? Now if they are, we are putting children below 5 to the screen so that they should be learning something good, but it is going to be harmful for them because the screen exposure for children below 5 is not good. Okay, this may be because of their delicate body, their delicate eyes. I don't know, this can be, this is all research based. So what are the findings? We are here concerned with the findings. The finding is that children under the age of 5 years face several risks associated with too much of screen viewing or screen exposure. Now, you know, screen exposure is everything. It is television, it is computers, it is video games, it is like use of tablets, use of mobiles, wherever the screen is there. So screen time for children below 5 years should be almost to not or very extremely little, if at all. So what is the suggestion here? So first of all is to minimize the risk. We have to minimize the risk of media exposure to younger children. For the school going children, we already studied that it can develop their academic skill. So we have to be mindful of the time. How much time the child is using for television or for screen time. How much screen time is appropriate according to the age of the child, according to the developmental stage of the child. So what, how much time we can give as a screen time to a child without the child getting harmed by it. So another is what is a healthy screen. So we have to have like a healthy screen for children. It means that whatever is coming on the screen is according to the child growth and emotional development, according to the understanding of the child, and what we want that this is appropriate viewing for child. So this is known as healthy screen. Okay, so mindfulness regarding the time, and providing children with healthy screen, and below 5 years minimum screen exposure. These are the things which are going to mitigate the risks involved with electronic media and children. So what are these are the four principles. So when we say what are the principles for use of electronic media by children, we can say that first of all, minimize the screen time. Second is mitigate the risks involved. Third is be mindful about the screen time and be mindful about providing a healthy screen experience to the children. So parents and family, it is very important that not only parents but the entire family is involved in it. Living caregiver taking care of children at home are part of the family. So like if parents are out home, and there are other members in the family to take care of the child, so they are putting the child to the television because children find it so interesting. But as professional understanding of this topic, we understand that below the age of 5 it is very harmful putting the child to the screen exposure. And even if when they grow up, so we have to be careful about certain things, that what they are viewing, they should be healthy viewing, they should be minimizing the risk, there should be a very time limit, mindful of what they are watching and for how long they are watching it. Okay. Closely related to this topic is the topic of computers in the classroom. So if we are taking care of a child who is a school going child, so everywhere in the schools there is use of computers over there. So what about that? What do experts say about use of computers in the classroom? So first of all is, what is the benefit of it? The benefit of personalized education or instruction is that every child learns at their own pace. Okay, so there is individual difference in children. Everybody understands that not all children learn all the time in the same way or in the same time span. They are on different developmental stages, and even if they are on the same stage, they may not be on the same level of achievement in school, so that is okay. So personal computers are useful because the instruction gets personalized. So the child is working on one mathematics sum, so that is not being done, getting instruction how to do it. Okay, then taking up the next and the next and the next. In this way, gradually personal computers are going to be helpful for the children, because these computers act as an instructor. So you read there, okay, it is written, the instruction is there, okay. So we do not need a teacher, rather the instruction is coming from the computer itself. So all the subjects can be done like this, in this way, sciences, social sciences, arts, accounts, and all those things. Next is children also receive the feedback when the computer is being used. So there is feedback also coming. So these are 10 questions. I am going to take this one by one. Okay, so this one I did take out of 10. How much marks do I get? So that is the feedback. So the computer in the classroom is not only providing instruction to the child, also telling the result of the entire task completed, like how much percent the child has been able to score on that particular task. So this is also interactive instruction, that feedback is coming back to the child, and now according to the feedback the student is again moving further. Apart from this, computers in the classroom, they provide so much of experimental exposure or experimental opportunity to the children. They can move in the field they want to go. So this is the computer. Now this is your time in the computer in the school. So this is my time. I would want to go and understand the field in which I am interested. So somebody might be looking into the computer in the sports or in the business, or let us say in a field of education itself, or in the field of like banking. So whatever is the interest of the child, it is there. Then in computer assisted learning, there is stimulating programs. Now, we were talking to you. I was talking to you about children become lazy thinkers. They do not think. So what is happening in stimulating computer programs? They are going to put a curiosity in you. Okay, so the curiosity is what will happen if there were no trees. So the child is going to think if there were no trees. So every child is going to think according to their own age group, according to their own level. What will happen if there were no pets at homes? So these are the stimulating questions which propel a child to think on their own and come out with creative answers. Another one is, this is also going to create a personalized instruction. Personalized instruction or personalized simulation is, so what happens if you do not pay your income tax? So this is a question that is going to come on me. If I'm a grown-up person and somebody says, what will happen if you do not pay your income tax? So I'm going into thinking because this is related to me. So one example I gave you about what will happen if there are no trees, there are no pets. This is a general question which is going to be affecting everyone. But when they say, okay, what happens if you do not pay the income tax, then I will think about myself. Okay, so in this way there is stimulating questions. These questions can be related to what will happen to the society, and this will also related to what will happen to me. In this way, the self-consciousness of the self and self-consciousness of being member of an organized group of organized society is there. Then word processing is there, word processors are there, word check are there. There are so many facilities we have through computers that are going to help us in so many ways. Like when I'm writing something, so I'm not concerned about whether my spellings are good or not, because the spellings are going to be corrected by the computer itself. So what we are reaching here to is that the time and energy which I put to learn the spellings can be used for some other creative activity. It is not that okay, so the words are there, so I don't need to remember the words. The words I have to remember. Mind you, we have to remember the words, but the spellings may not, we can do without. So spellings are being taken care of by the computer, and while we are developing our vocabulary, we are understanding more words. So what is required in good writing is that what is the idea? Even as writers, what they do, like suppose so I've been a member of International Writers Society. Okay, here in Vancouver there is Writers International Society. I'm a member of that. So when you are writing a poem, what you do, you just capture the idea. So you capture the idea, you put down the idea. So if the idea skips, it will not come back to you again. You can take care of the spellings, you can take care of the like rhyming, you can take care of the theme, you can take care of how to build up a poem, whether it is a sonnet or a ode or a poem or a hymn or what you call a celt. There are so many types of poems, epics. So it doesn't matter what you are going to write. What is important is the idea will get skipped. So the time that the child is using on the computerized instruction, personalized instruction, is not taking care of the word spellings, but taking care of the idea. So that is a higher level of learning. When you are able to generate ideas, that is the highest level of learning we are having. Okay, because spellings for tables and spellings, what we need is our rote memory. This is called rote memory. By repetition we remember, but creating idea is something which ideas come to you in a like a fraction of a second, and then they just skip out of mind, so we can capture those. This is the meaning that ideas rule the world. So what is the conclusion of all this discussion here? In conclusion, we can say that computers and television, these are like devices which can be used for proper development of the child only if these are used with a little bit of caution. The younger the children, the more caution is required. So technology can be positively used in the classroom for betterment of the children, to make the tasks easy, to make them learn more within the given time and within the given energy. Okay, so but what we have to be careful about? We have to be careful about the time, how much time is given, and what the children are going to learn or see. So with this, we take care of this topic, and maybe quickly we are further going to move into another part, which is a very small one but important. So we have talked about fast mapping. What is the concept of fast mapping? Fast mapping is at the age of 18 months. Around the age of 18 months starts the period of fast mapping. It means that children are using words. They are learning like hundreds of words within a week, right? So there are so much language vocabulary is being developed when the child is around 18 months and like growing at that time. So this is the period that should be utilized to the maximum development of vocabulary for the children. They are using so many words, and this is called naming explosion. Naming explosion is like they are learning new word, and then fast mapping is they are connecting one word to the other, connecting one word to the other. Okay, like if I say a word music, so what would the words be coming to your mind? So I say music, so there can be audience, there can be shows, there can be competition, there can be musical instruments, there can be like musical trainings, training schools of music, so many things. So with one single word, when several ideas are getting connected, this is called fast mapping. Okay, so children are into fast mapping, they are into like naming explosion. So as a living caregiver, we should be taking advantage of these like natural, this is a natural way of language learning. So we should be feeding them with such kind of environment in which they are able to learn more and more. So fast mapping is the ability to connect new words and giving them meanings. So parents and children, they together have a big role to play in it, like in the schools, teacher and the child, at home, living caregiver and the child. So children can learn much more if they are like being provided with opportunities, provided with situations. Otherwise also they are learning so much. But if you can think that if we consciously give them those opportunities for fast mapping, for naming explosion period, so much more can be achieved. Another aspect to this is naming errors. Naming errors is also a way in which we can understand that something is wrong with the child, right? If they are younger, that is okay, but as they grow, naming errors should be removed. For example, naming error is under extension. Under extension is thinking only within one environment. So if you say this is a ball, so the child is happy, this is a ball. But if the child thinks only this is the ball, out of the house, whatever I see, those things, those are not balls. So this is called under extension of language. So in your home, you have a cat. Okay, so this is a cat, so this is a pet. So the child thinks that within this home, this thing is called a cat and this thing is a pet. And outside the home, there are no cats, there are no pets. So this is under extension of a word. So when they are younger, it is okay, but later on, they must understand. Then there is overextension. Overextension is when one word they give meaning to all those things. Like when we say, so this is jacket. So jacket is to be worn. So the child thinks that all the things that we wear are jackets. So the trousers, that is also a jacket. So a t-shirt, that is also a jacket. This is called overextension. Thinking make like one word should be understood in one context, one concrete context. Okay, so there are so many words which are pronounced in the same way, which are also spelled in the same way. Okay, but they are have different meanings, right? Like for a simple example, we say S-O-N, son. Okay, son is a like a family member of or offspring. S-U-N, son. So that is the sun. Okay, the sun, that is the day and night sun, right? So children must understand that as a child, it is okay when there is under extension of words or there is overextension of words, but gradually we should keep an eye that if this under extension and overextension of words is continually there, it is there, then the child might be having some problem with the language or language dyslexia, which we call. And this topic of language dyslexia or some other language problems, language learning problems, so we will be taking up in our next lecture. Okay, with that, thank you everyone. And for the remote students, I would say that kindly uh, keep posting your discussion topics on the Moodle and also your assignments. Although I am receiving, like most of those I am receiving, still before the completion of this course, that is on 30th March, it is strongly advisable that everybody should be submitting all their assignments. Okay. Thank you so much, and be seeing you on next recording. Also, keep yourself updated with the announcements. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.